guys, gals, and non-binary pals. My name is Mal, and I'm the Zookeeping Interpreter here at Trailside Museums and Zoo. And today, it's turtles, all the way down. We're going to be talking about all sorts of turtles and all the turtles we have here at Trailside. So here with me right now, we have our little friend Milo, and he is a painted turtle. Painted turtles are the most common turtle found in New York State and all across the country. And these guys are easily recognized by their beautiful coloration on their heads and their necks and the sides of their shells too. Bright orange and yellow, gorgeous turtles. Now you can most frequently find painted turtles doing one of their favorite activities, basking. These guys you can spot up on logs and rocks, in ponds and streams where they live, just soaking up the sun rays. And that does two things for them. The first thing it does is it helps them thermoregulate. Being reptiles, turtles are cold-blooded, so they rely on the temperature of their external environment to internally regulate their body temperatures. Two, just like the vultures, they're using the UV radiation from the sun to help kill ticks and parasites that might be living on their shells. Now each species of turtle has their own unique shell shape. These guys, unlike most species of turtles, can't actually pull into their shells for protection. They have very flat shells that are more streamlined for making a fast getaway, and that's how they're going to avoid predators. At the first sign of danger, if these guys are out basking, they're going to dive in the water as fast as they can so they don't become lunch. Now turtle shells have a couple different parts. The back of the shell is called the carapace. The bottom is the plastron. And each individual little segment of the shell is one of my favorite words. They're called scutes. Now, unlike in the cartoons, turtles can't just peel off their shells after a long, hard day of work. Instead, their vertebrae, or their backbone, is actually fused to the carapace of their shell. So wherever they go, they're bringing their shell with them. Like other reptiles do, turtles also shed their skin, and they will shed the scutes of their shells individually, one by one, as they peel off. And basking is going to help with that process. Now if you see on Milo here, he has a lovely set of claws on his feet, and this is unique to only the male painted turtles. This is how they impress the ladies, and they do it with the power of jazz hands. So in the turtle mating ritual, the male will approach the female and show off his jazz hands to her, signaling that he's looking for love. Our next turtle we have is Stubbs the snapping turtle. Now I don't recommend handling a snapping turtle on your own. Stubbs here and I are professionals. Stubbs is an educational ambassador, so he's used to being handled by us and has been handled by us for a long time. Wild snapping turtles, on the other hand, not so much, and they're not going to appreciate being picked up. Now, the first thing about these guys, their scientific name, Calidra serpentina, refers to their long snake-like necks, which means no matter where you pick up a snapping turtle, you're not safe from their bite, which, to be honest, really isn't much stronger than the bite force of a human, but is still capable of taking off a finger, so you want to be careful with these guys. Despite having quite the set of jaws on them, did you know turtles don't actually have any teeth? Instead, they have what is referred to as a beak, almost like birds. Now, if you notice on Stubbs, he has a very camouflaged or cryptic coloration, and this is for blending in with his environment. Snapping turtles are ambush predators, and they'll eat just about anything. Fish, frogs, rodents, birds, anything that comes in front of them, they're going to snap at. Now the cousin of the snapping turtle, the alligator snapping turtle, which is a resident of Florida, takes their cryptic coloration one step farther. So your average snapping turtle is just going to lie in wait, waiting for prey to come in front of them. Instead, the alligator snapping turtle is actually going to entice that prey with a lure. The tongue of the alligator snapping turtle looks just like a worm, and what they'll do is they'll open their mouths, hold real still, and they'll wiggle their tongues to entice fish into their mouths, and then chomp! It's lunchtime. Now Stubbs here is a large snapping turtle, but he still has a lot of growing to do. These guys can weigh up to 40 pounds and can live for several decades. In fact, an alligator snapping turtle found in Florida had an object lodged in its shell. Upon closer inspection, they realized that this object was a musket ball from the Civil War. These guys are truly long-lived. People, when they go swimming, might be wary of snapping turtles. And I'm here to tell you that you don't have anything to worry about. These guys want you to think that they are rocks. They blend in perfectly so that they look just like rocks. And if you step on one, well, they're not going to bite you. They're going to pretend to be rocks. Because as long as they think you haven't discovered that they're turtles, they're going to pretend to be rocks for as long as they can be. They become dangerous once they know you're after them. Now, one big problem with these guys is crossing the road. In the spring and fall, these guys will often cross roadways to get to sandy banks where they can lay their nests. And this is most commonly when we encounter them as humans. So, we can, as humans, help them cross the road. So, if you ever encounter one in the roadway, what you're going to want to do is first make sure it's safe to pull over and enter traffic. And you're going to help these guys cross the roads by goading them with a stick in the direction that they are already headed. The turtle's made up his mind. Whether you think it's a good direction or not, that's the direction they're gonna go. We do not want to pick these guys up even by the backs of their shells. Instead, let them do all the work and you're their guide. Now, like the painted turtle, these guys also have flattened shells for maneuvering through the water, as well as webbed feet with claws. And they will use these claws for digging their nests on land when it is the nesting season. Snapping turtles can hold their breath for almost a whole hour. And when they need to breathe, they have a specially adapted nose, almost like a snorkel that they can reach up to the surface without fully surfacing their bodies. Our third and final turtle we have with us today is Puck, the terrestrial or land-dwelling box turtle. Now, box turtles are named for their shells, which they are able to close up the little flap in the front, just like a box. And when they seal that box, they are impenetrable. Even to the little people hands of raccoons that might try to pry them open, there's no getting open the box turtle shell. Box turtle shells are also one of my favorite turtle shells for the beautiful patterning on the back. And each pattern is unique to each individual box turtle. Now, you can see the shape of the shell of the box turtle is a lot more different than the aquatic turtles. They have a much larger domed carapace, and their feet aren't webbed at all. These guys have claws made for digging and burrowing, which they will use for thermoregulation. On hot days, these guys are going to burrow into the ground. And also, for hibernation, burrowing comes in handy to help keep them warm during the winter months. Another adaptation unique to the box turtle is their homing abilities. So, just like pigeons and birds, these guys are able to circumnavigate their way to an exact den location. And we're not quite sure exactly how they do that, whether it's magnetic fields or landmarks. These guys will stay in a territory of a few kilometers squared. They are quite the roamers. And if removed from their territory, they are able to find their way back to the exact spot. I hope you had a shell of a time learning about turtles today. Thanks for watching and tune in next time.